Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. The markets have made some moves today, and gold and silver and platinum and palladium have all reacted. We'll kind of take a look at those here after a bit, but let's take a look at this opinion piece from Anna Golubova, who is from Kitco. This is from Kitco News, so consider the source. And we love to try to keep things in balance here as we analyze, because certainly just because prices have gone up today doesn't mean they can't go back down tomorrow. And the markets really have kind of bounced back a little bit from their 500-point drop and recovered somewhat. So consider the timing and the source and everything for this information. But let's take a look and see what they're talking about here from Kitco News. Gold prices could be in store for the mother of all short covering rallies, said one analyst, citing CFTC short positioning and the yellow metal strength in the face of a higher U.S. dollar. Even $1,500 is not out of the realm of possibilities, according to Think Markets chief analyst Naeem Aslam, who sees the latest CFTC data as a positive sign for gold prices. The recent CFTC data showed that hedge funds have decided that it is about time for them to start scaling back from their short positions. This sends a strong bullish signal for the metal, Aslam wrote in a report published on Monday. Making things even more favorable for gold prices is a capitulation factor in case the Federal Reserve changes its mind on how aggressive it wants to be when it comes to monetary tight policy tightening. And that's the thing, with the recent scare in the stock market and the prices kind of going down, or the stock market, going below 1,000 points, it has you wondering if the Fed maybe had went a little too far. And as Donald Trump has criticized the Fed several times about hiking the interest rate so many times this year, it's important to emphasize that back in 2015, when speculators had net long positions, it triggered a 30% move in the gold price. A similar move would help the price move to $1,500, Aslam added. Another sign that things are looking up for gold is the metal strength in the face of a higher U.S. dollar. Yes, and that is one of those areas where the dollar is remaining strong, the dollar index, but yet gold is holding its own in these times. It's sort of a push-pull type of situation here. During the past few weeks, we have seen the positive correlation between the dollar index and gold price. This shows that gold prices become immune to the rise of the dollar index. This simply means if we see any kind of pullback in the dollar index, the odds are higher for a mammoth move in the gold price, as Aslam explained. And I don't know that I would make that exact correlation. I do believe it's unusual because 9 times out of 10, they are inversely related. On top of that, the recent weakness in global equities and concerns about global economic growth have been helping the yellow metal. Anxieties around the trade war started to impact the sentiment, and this has triggered the profit warning by Wall Street analysts. On top of this, we also have the IMF coming out with a downward version of global economic growth. The bearish sentiment since then has picked strength, and more hedge fund analysts have started to believe that there are more chances for the markets to face serious correction than a bull run, as Aslam pointed out. This kind of makes you wonder and pause for a moment, because let's say the dollar index does continue to grow and our economic situation here in the United States continues to improve and get better with multiple months of GDP or quarters of GDP growth above 3%, but yet the rest of the world is moving in the exact opposite direction. Will that cause, with the whole world, basically, this view of gold prices, will they go up and continue to go up here in spite of a strong dollar? I think that's one thing that we should probably consider, especially if there's demand to accumulate it for specifically as a hedge against economic instability in those countries. The geopolitical environment is also likely lending a hand to gold prices, with investors looking towards risk-off assets with safe haven properties like gold. In the report, Islam highlighted heightened geopolitical tensions between Saudi Arabia and the West over the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, Brexit negotiations, and Italian budget uncertainties in the EU. The geopolitical tensions have started to make investors seriously worried about the portfolios, and if we factor in the growth of concerns over China, in the same question, it becomes clear why speculators have started to scale back from their short positions, the analyst said, and I agree with that. Not only that, but you also have domestic political situations and tensions as well. And you have this caravan that is making its way. If it does make its way to the southern border and there's some sort of a clash or come to a head there, or even if there's no clash per se, but there is a strong political divide over what to do with those in the caravan, then I think that's going to not bode well and create some instability. Plus the elections, the midterm elections themselves, I believe that depending on how things, who wins and who takes control of the House and Senate will determine, well, where things go with gold and silver. I think there'll be a lot of instability. If there's any change at all, and this goes for the other direction too, any change in the status quo, I think will cause, at least for a while, a bit of a change in gold and silver. I believe they'll go higher if there's a change and the Democrats end up winning. We shall see. All right. And we can see here is a chart that shows kind of where gold and silver are. Just we'll pause for a moment. We'll say gold is up $8.10. Silver is up 17 cents. Platinum is up $11. And palladium is up $17. Palladium is getting closer to gold, as I mentioned in a previous video. Tuesday, gold prices rallied, and they hit that 3-month high and trending above $12.40 an ounce level due to increased safe haven demand and amid rising geopolitical uncertainty. It's going to be interesting to see as we take a look here again at these prices. And again, this is from goldprice.com, and as I've noted in a prior video too, they do vary between whoever is reporting these prices, but nonetheless, it's interesting to see where things are and how these markets are, and how gold and silver react to the markets. And so something we should always keep in mind. And as I say in most every video when I talk about this and analyze the markets and where these precious metals are, for those of us who understand, who truly get what gold and silver are, that they are the ultimate hedge, the ultimate protection against economic instability, it really doesn't matter what the price is, because the market can be doing great, and that just means it's on sale. I liken it to an insurance policy. If you have an auto insurance and you've got a great driving record, well, you're going to get insurance cheap. If you have a bad driving record or get a lot of tickets, well, your prices are going to go up. That's your personal driving record instability. Hence, you have higher prices. Doesn't make the insurance any less valuable. Doesn't make it any more valuable. And that's really what gold and silver do at their core. Now, sure, there are ways to make money off of gold and silver, depending on how you angle it or how you approach it. With mining stocks, with ETFs, with the ratio. Now, there's a lot of different ways to be able to make money and use them towards an investment strategy, but nonetheless, the metals themselves do what they always are supposed to do and provide that hedge of protection, and that's what we want. Looking at platinum and palladium, those metals are quite interesting and unique, and really have come to the forefront here in recent months and even years, especially with platinum's inverse reaction to gold, because for a while now, it's become now the standard that platinum, even though much rarer than gold, does cost a lot less. And a lot of that is based off of industrial demand. And both those metals I consider as fringe precious metals that are okay to have as to diversify your metals portfolio, yet I would not count on them as money. In fact, I would even dare say, even though that there are some coins that are minted out of platinum, and even fewer minted out of palladium, I generally would not consider those money. Um, and that's sort of a strong statement because we like to think of these precious metals as money, but they've never have circulated as money, even though the mints have minted them. And I think that's the thing: the history of money, the history of being used as a fungible asset is just not there with platinum and palladium. They don't have the history behind them that gold and silver do. In the platinum metals group, they're wonderful metals, beautiful. I have both of them, but they don't fall in that same line. But as we see here, as is with this story about how gold could be pushed to $1,500 based off the short selling and the like, well, platinum and palladium are along for the ride. In many cases, really silver is too, although silver is money, but its diverse nature as a precious metal or being used in industry and the like. And many people see it more as a commodity and is not treasured as gold has been. So very interesting indeed. Now, one final note that I will say about gold, is now it looks like with these prices moving the way they are, if trends continue as such, even if the markets stabilize, the markets may be spoofed enough that the precious metals could continue to creep up a bit. I think my prediction for silver being close to $20 is probably going to not happen. I'd be very surprised if it does. Gold, it's becoming a little bit more likely that it could hit $1,400 if paces continue as they are. We'll see how it plays out, but one final little note here, the percentage-wise, silver has moved up. And gold has moved a little bit less than the other precious metals here. The strongest mover was palladium. Post your thoughts below. I want to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.